The elderly gentleman said, young man, if you don't mind my giving you some advice, sports is a very unpredictable, risky career. If you were Viswanathan Anand, you could make a living from chess, but otherwise it will be quite a ride. Hello, I'm Viswanathan Anand, and I would like to talk to you about my long game. This is my museum of memories, and behind are 10 moments that have shaped who I am today. Let's go. Very nice. So I'm showing my mother this simply because I wanted to tell her the latest developments in chess. I recognize the position because of these 3 knights over there. Chess, you can play it to see if you've understood it, or telling them verbally. We think when we have spent time on a subject, we understand it very well. So the lowest level is just, I know it exists. The highest level is when you can explain everything. And only once you have explained it to someone once or twice do you really know it well yourself. It's a good way of measuring if you know something, if you understood something. Next. A chess clock. Now you can imagine that when I was young, we used to play with 5 minutes, and I would almost always finish my game within 2 or 3 minutes. I would have an extra 2 minutes to spare because I was so good at playing fast. Eventually, somebody decided to think of a good nickname for the newspaper and came up with Lightning Kid. The nicer lesson this taught me is about time management. In life, often we'll be asked to do things in a certain way with a certain deadline. It's nice to be able to double check, but sometimes what seems like a quest for perfection is just your insecurity. A cruel teacher, but nonetheless, there you have it. See what we have here. Chess players always carry around a magnetic chess set. Good chess players think about chess a lot. A lot of time thinking will seem wasted till it suddenly becomes useful. Good ideas will not happen easily if you don't put in that time. And maybe that's the connection I would draw. So my takeaway is, if you want to get something, you have to put in a lot of time in it. And one day when you get the success, you will probably have forgotten how much time you put into it. It will seem like, it popped out of nowhere, but it never does. This is a nice story. It's about a train journey. I had just become a grandmaster. It was a very big step because I was Asia's first world junior champion and India's first grandmaster. The prospect of a professional chess career had suddenly become real. Anyway, I was going in this train. The elderly gentleman next to me struck up a conversation. He says, so young man, what do you do? I said, well, I'm a chess player. He thought for a bit and said, yes, but what do you do? I said, no, I'm a professional chess player. I make a living from chess. Then finally he said, young man, if you don't mind my giving you some advice, sports is a very unpredictable, risky career. If you were Viswanathan Anand, you could make a living from chess, but otherwise it will be quite a ride. What this tells me though is assumption that some careers were stable. Chess is unpredictable, but of course engineering or doctor is very stable. Any career can be unstable. But I think this was just a heartwarming story. And in some way it's the ultimate compliment, isn't it? Okay, we see a starting position where white has played d4. And what that obviously strongly reminds me is my 2008 match in Bonn, Germany with Vladimir Kramnik. It's probably the best match I've played in my life. I took the decision to switch from my lifetime opening, which is e4, to his lifetime opening, because with e4, the opening that I specialized in all my life, it's very hard to get the kind of position I want against him. I say this was a big risk, but it was not a gamble. A gamble is when you just think, I feel like doing something today, but you don't prepare yourself, don't get ready for it. I had a year before this decision. I then prepared myself and I played. I did not gamble. So risks are essential. I've heard it said that the biggest risk sometimes is to take no risk at all. This one paid off spectacularly and it's a very wonderful memory for me. Okay, what's this one now? Another nice memory. So this was my 2010 match against Veselin Topalov. I was supposed to leave on April 15th. A volcano goes off, travel 3 days later. Turns out to be a 40-hour bus journey. Then we heard a rumor that my opponent had a very sophisticated computer, much more powerful than anything we had. This led to the problem, should I revisit everything? My opponent's manager was trying to provoke us always. They were putting out slightly unpleasant stories in the press. And the worst thing was, the first day, I lost in the most embarrassing fashion. And when I went back to the hotel, I was really thinking, how can I even show my face to my team after what I just did? At some point, when you cannot control things, you cannot obsess about the fact that you're not controlling. You have to let go and depend on what you have. What I am is a chess player. What I have is many hundreds of hours thinking about chess. And if that's not good enough, that's not good enough. And then the next day, by a miracle, I won. I took the lead after game 4. The only thing I take away from this sequence is that unexpectedly, when you show up and you just decide, I'm going to do what I can do, what I can control, some things will work in your favor as well. Let's see, what's this one? Prague. I had a big slump from June, July 2001, which lasted till April 2002. And I went to Prague with the lowest expectations. I thought it would be nice to play 1 or 2 decent games just to feel how I used to feel. And with this attitude, I won that tournament. Then on the last day, there was a proposal to discuss a reunification of the world title at that point. I was angry that I was not taken into consideration. And I don't like getting angry. And a lot of times in the past, when there are situations when I had to fight for my rights or make a stand, I would rationalize and try to be nice and friendly. This time, without being rude to anyone, Arun and me looked at each other and said, well, if this is my thing in the negotiations, I'm not going to go. So there will often come moments when you have to stand up for yourself. There's no need to express your anger directly with a raised tone or harsh words. Sometimes you've lost the argument just by doing that. You can just do it by being firm. Yes, my 1995 match with Kasparov. This should be a nice memory. It was my first World Championship. It was in New York in the World Trade Center, 107th floor. I won game 9, took the lead, and then I had a spare weapon prepared exactly for this moment. All I had to do was to switch, and where I went, he had been waiting for me. It's been a perfect moment to spring a surprise. So, to give you some background, he had played a superb novelty at that point, a new move which changed the evaluation of the position. But game 10 was more unpleasant because he would get up, make the move very convincingly, slam the clock, go outside, slam the door. And we played in an artificial cage because of fire regulations. As a result, the whole room would shake a little bit. The move was strong enough to win without his tantrums. He didn't need to do this. It was one of my important learning lessons that sometimes you can have a perfect strategy, but under pressure, you simply don't know how to implement it. Okay, let's see what's here. Nice contrast. The photo with whatever style I had then is from first big international tournament. This is one of the legendary tournaments in chess, which goes back to the 1930s. And of course, I was very excited to accept this. I even remember the sensation of walking outside in the cold air, and even that felt exciting. Second photo is, of course, from 2013, from my match in Chennai. By this point, I was almost doing things out of a sense of obligation, or go so far as to say duty, but the 4th match in a row. So Kramnik, Topalov, Gelfand, and then just 1 year later, a match in Chennai. I didn't even know why they were putting me on this kind of schedule. My takeaway from this is that it's so much nicer when you have hunger and excitement. Over my life's experience, I've understood that these things are part of a cycle. They come and go. You cannot always be excited, but you can also make life exciting for yourself by giving yourself little goals, if not big ones, little goals. Something new to look forward to, something new that excites you and makes it smoother. What have we here? Mindmaster, my autobiography. Winning is more important than participating, especially when you're 25. But when you're writing an autobiography, it almost feels the other way. I found that I was able to look back on a lot of things, like chess players are supposed to have amazing memory, the ability to concentrate, the greatest brains ever, and so on. But when writing my book, I could finally talk about this theme, which is we're very good at chess because we spend a lot of time trying to be good at chess. We concentrate better because we are interested in the subject. We remember things because we attach stories to them. We like remembering them and they are useful. So that's our focus. So in the same way, whatever you want to be good at, you can train and become good at it.